Let's see. Smile. Elegant. Style.
Drake, you got some explaining to do, sir. I seen the picture floating around that involves P. Diddy. That's very interesting to me. Why do you have a picture of P. Diddy on your wall?
Love you, bro.
I love you so much, man. I hope y'all stay safe. I hope I can come to your house soon, or you can come to my house.
Yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait.
So it turns out that Drake was involved in Diddy's freak-off parties as well, and he's now trying to look for the easiest way out. How's that? Well, Drake's taking an old one out of the book and spilling secrets. He snitched on Diddy in open court, and you gotta hand it to him. Getting ahead of a scandal before it comes back to bite him is a genius strategy, but fans can't look the other way, especially after all the devious acts that went down at Diddy's parties. And get this, apparently there's footage proving that Drake was at those parties. Just how bad is it looking for Drake? And was he really at those parties? Let's find out. Drake tries to bury past. So Drake's been making all kinds of headlines, but a scandal with Diddy, especially after everything that has come to light about him? Yeah, well, those are some headlines that Drake can't afford at all, and that's exactly why he tried to play it smart. Once the charges against Diddy were revealed, Drake tried to make it seem like he had nothing to do with him. How's that? Well, the rapper has this Finsta where he posts his unfiltered thoughts, and he recently posted a screenshot from the 2015 film The Big Short, particularly a scene where Ryan Gosling's character says, "I never hung out with these idiots after work, ever." And then the next slide reads, "I had fashion friends." Now a lot of fans thought that was Drake's subtle way of saying that he never had anything to do with Diddy's freak-off parties. But there's just one problem with that situation. See, Drake had plenty of opportunities to distance himself from Diddy, but he didn't. And if you're thinking that fans are reading too much into it, well, that might not be the case. See, earlier on June 19th this year, Drake's rap rival, Kendrick, hosted the Pop Out, Ken and Friends. He wrapped up the concert by performing Not Like Us 5 times in a row. And guess who joined him on the stage for the big finale? Well, a whole bunch of bigwigs like YG, Dr. Dre, Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, Ab-Soul, and some NBA players like Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan. Heck, LeBron James was even spotted having a good time in the crowd, and as expected, Drake was super pissed about the entire situation. After the concert, he went on a Lil unfollowing spree, cutting people off like LeBron James and Playboi Carti. Not the most mature move, but fans were less concerned about him acting like a teenage girl. They were all more focused on Drake still following Diddy on Instagram. In fact, it struck a nerve. Drake had no problem following Diddy, a man who has been accused of some heinous crimes. However, when the feds came knocking, Drake decided to pack his bags. Fans think it's hella sus. In their eyes, Drake was covering his tracks, and it seems like he did have something to hide. See, Drake and Diddy did used to party back in the day, and there are plenty of pictures and videos out there to prove it, like this one. Fans didn't think about his comments back then, but now they're wondering exactly just what kind of inspiration Drake was getting from Diddy. Maybe inspiration for freak-off parties? And there this other time, Drake jumped on an IG live with Diddy and told him multiple times how much he loved him. And get this, during the same live, Drake said that he was inspired by Diddy. Drake also tweeted once, "From Diddy view, I think I see his vision too." That almost makes it seem like Drake used to idolize Diddy. Not to mention, the dude has a literally poster of Diddy up on his wall.
Drake, you got some explaining to do, sir. I seen the picture floating around that involves P. Diddy. That's very interesting to me. Why do you have a picture of P. Diddy on your wall? Why do you have a picture of Sean Combs on your wall in your house? How many of your fans trying to convince us that you don't rock with P. Diddy no more, you and P. Diddy been beefing because he slapped you in one of the hotels that they're investigating? But this was after you got slapped at that hotel that they're investigating. P. Diddy been on your wall for a little while now.
Now, some fans may feel that the accusations are a stretch, but there's a reason behind it. See, during the Kendrick-Drake beef, Dot made a bunch of disturbing allegations that left a mark, like Drake pulling young women on stage and acting inappropriately with them, and the fact that he hangs around with young girls in the industry like Millie Bobby Brown.
I met Drake in an Australian hotel, and honestly, we text all the time now.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys, he helps me.
What?
Yeah, he's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
So, yeah, with all that coming to light, it looks like Drake has a thing for young women exactly like Diddy. And let's not forget when DJ Academics explained how crazy Drake's parties would get, like we're talking about inviting 400 girls to over 50 different parties. Not to mention that Kendrick exposed Drake's ties to Diddy during the beef in the track Not Like Us, Rapped. And your homeboy needs subpoena, that Predator move in Flocks, that name gotta be registered and placed on Neighborhood Watch. Basically, Dot was saying that Drake's one of the predators, and he was gonna go on the registry soon. He also called him out for hanging out with the wrong crowd. We're talking about Baka Not Nice. Dot rapped, "And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified PDF file." See, Baka's a good old friend of Drake and a Toronto-based rapper. He used to work as a security guard before he switched careers. But get this, back in 2014, Baka was arrested for forcing a 22-year-old woman into, you know. Despite the allegations against him, Drake chose to hang out with him, raising questions about his morals. I mean, a guy is judged by the crowd he hangs out with, and it doesn't look like Drake has a problem hanging out with men who have been accused of mistreating women like Baka. But Dot popped Drake's bubble. Nero and Cuba Gooding Jr. are being validated, and there is more evidence that they conspired together to bring Diddy down after things got too hot in 2023. This will be huge and may in fact lead to the tables turning on Diddy and Drizzy. And there's a Telegram group chat that is essentially Aubrey's lifeline. When he's writing, he's bouncing ideas off that group chat and getting people to write bars for him. That's why his phone never leaves his side in studio sessions. FYI, Cuba Gooding Jr. was tied to Diddy. Lil Rod name dropped him as one of the defendants in his lawsuit against Diddy. According to court documents, Mr. Jones believes that Mr. Combs was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. During the introduction, Mr. Combs suggested that Cuba get to know Mr. Jones better. He then left them alone in a makeshift studio on the yacht. As evidenced by a video, of which screenshots are embedded below, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, roping, and fondling Mr. Jones' legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks, and his shoulders. Mr. Jones was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Mr. Gooding Jr. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. Safe to say, Cuba was heavily involved with Diddy, and now they're saying that Cuba was tied to Drake as well. So you do the math here. That said, Diddy taking down might have spooked Drake, because if they came for him, they could definitely come from Drizzy as well. And some fans think that's exactly the kind of message Dot was sending Drake when he released The Day the Party Died. He seemed to be sending Drake some warning shots in the first verse. "I think it's time to watch the party die. This shit done got too wicked to apologize. It's different. Get him whacked and disqualified. We even kill the killers because they like taking innocent lives. Burn the whole village. We start over. It's really that time," hinting that the industry was on the verge of a makeover. And it seems like there's some truth to that theory. One fan on Lipstick Alley put things in perspective, writing, "So no one sees the connection? Keef D2Pac's accused was apprehended on September 29th, 2023. Cassie's lawsuit was filed on November 16th, 2023. Diddy House was raided on April 3rd, 2024. This timeline makes me believe Diddy had a probe on him for many years. ESP looking at the dates, Cassie lawsuit was filed 2 months after the apprehension of Keef D. Y'all, remember when Kanye went on that rant on Noor's podcast and then called Diddy Fed? Yeah, the industry knew about the feds on him for years. And then he dropped Drake's timeline, writing, "Like that dropped on March 24th, 2024 a month, and some change after the raid at Diddy." When that dropped a font on here, including me, made a thread predicting K-Dot's angle as exposing Drake's weird and PDF file ways. K-Dot cooked him so bad, and I am sure Drake's career is done now. I even heard he lost his Nike deal. Now my question is, who made it okay for K-Dot, Metro, Future, Rick Ross, Kanye, and many more to target Drake? Drake once was the industry's golden boy and was highly protected. Some say Jay-Z's made the call to buy time for himself. Kendrick wasn't lying when he said the embassy is about to be raided, the industry is whispering, and someone is talking. Is it Diddy? Is it Weinstein? Kanye outed Diddy's probe, and now K-Dot outing Drake. The industry knows. Drake has paperwork showing he is selling off properties in the USA. Ask yourself, why now? Sleuths have also uncovered to find some clarity after watching some of the other videos on our channel.
Hey, you say rich baby daddy, it's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow. On Stay Scheming, Drake says, tell Lucian I said I'm tearing holes in my budget.
Tell Lucian I said fuck, I'm tearing holes in my budget.
Did Drake call you up after that and say, hey, I need more money for my project?
If ever Drake or whenever Drake calls up and says he needs more money for his project, I give it to him.
I don't really know this guy that well.
So Kanye West just dropped some major bombshells during his chat on the Download podcast and spilled the tea about Drake supposedly being cozy with Universal Music CEO Lucian Grange. But get this, Kanye referred to Lucian as Drake's rich baby daddy, and he accused Drake of being Lucian's pupper, claiming Drake's getting paid to go against God.
Lucian Grange, he is one of the most powerful men in Hollywood and music. And he been up in Diddy's room. So this man right here is Sir Lucian Charles Grange. He's been the CEO of Universal Music Group since 2010, so you know he done seen shit. So I had to go to the damn documents. I had to see if this man was actually named, and he is. As you can see, it says Lucian Charles Grange, and it also says Universal Music Group. Defendant Grange sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Mr. Combs' home in Los Angeles, California. These parties were sponsored by defendants Mr. LR, which I don't know who that is, and UMG, which is Universal Music Group. As evidence above, the parties had ex-workers, I can't say the word, and underage girls present. During these parties, defendant Grange knew or should have known Mr. Combs was drugging the attendees through laced bottles of Dalan tequila and Ciroc vodka. He was using his own shit.
What's crazy is that Lucian Grange is pretty much the most powerful man in music, but until recently, no one knew his name. However, that changed when producer Lil Rod named Lucian and Universal Music as defendants in his lawsuit against Diddy.
Who the hell is this? You may have seen him with Justin Bieber or The Weeknd, and you might have even heard his name in the Diddy lawsuit. This is Sir Lucian Grange. He's the CEO and chairman of Universal Music Group and the most powerful man in entertainment. Grange grew up in North London and dropped out of school by 18 and started working as a runner at a talent scout company. He then started hitting up every label executive until the chairman of CBS Records gave him a chance on the A&R team. Over the next 2 decades, Lucian climbed the ranks until 2005, where he became the chairman of Universal's UK division. And by 2011, he was the chairman and CEO of all of Universal Music Group. And since taking over Universal, he's more than quadrupled the value of the company. It's worth about $55 billion right now. And they also own all the biggest artists. In fact, 70% of the songs on Billboard are owned by UMG. Lucian is considered the most powerful man in entertainment and was named the executive of the decade in 2020. But now Lucian is being talked about in the Diddy conspiracies, even though he claims he has nothing to do with it. People think if he didn't know about it, that he should have.
Why is everyone focusing so much on P. Diddy right now? When in actuality, everybody should be focusing their eyes on this man, Sir Lucian Grange, aka the chairman and CEO of Universal Music Group. Yes, the same Universal Music Group that had all of its artists' music taken off of TikTok. This situation is way bigger than anybody really thinks. And hopefully I'll be able to open your eyes just a little bit more. And there's numerous accusations of Lucian and UMG sponsoring these parties, including from artists like J-Lo herself. It gets pretty dark. And if you really want to get deep, over 70% of the songs that just so happen to be on the Billboard 100 just last year in the last quarter of December, okay, were literally owned by Universal Music Group, people. And in the 1,000 plus page documents, Lil Rod Jones and a lot of other defendants as well admit that Lucian himself was at each one of those parties.
Here is explosive allegation number 4 coming from this lawsuit. That the person who sits at the top of this ring potentially is Sir Lucian Grange. He is the CEO of Universal Music Group. He is also being sued. He has also been named as well as Universal Music Group. And he is, as a fact, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. He runs, again, Universal Music Group, which is huge. Well, Rodney, the producer, is alleging that when Lucian would visit Diddy's house, the two of them would go into Diddy's bedroom and be locked up in there for hours. What does that mean? What are we supposed to think of that? By the way, I looked into Lucien, obviously, because I was fascinated by this document, and I find it really bizarre that he completely changed his name. He used to be Michael G., the son of Cecil G., who was a huge tailor in London. I found that in this old article, The Guardian. The headline is "Forgotten and Overlooked: How Jewish Designers Dressed the Beatles and Changed Global Fashion." And in this article, there's a picture of Lucien. He was then, again, Michael G. He's sitting with his father, Cecil G. And it's just bizarre that also his father changed his name. In the article, it tells you that his father used to be Sasha Goldstein. So Sasha Goldstein became Cecil G., who gave birth to Michael G., who is now Lucien Grange. I mean, totally bizarre rabbit hole if you guys want to look into it. I just thought it was weird. I did a cursory search and found all of that. Perhaps most crucial, though, in the lawsuit is that, unbeknownst to Lucien, Diddy also has a ton of hidden cameras all throughout his house, including in his bedroom, which would perhaps suggest that the blackmail runs both ways. Maybe he also has blackmail on Lucien Grange. Again, I don't know. I'm just telling you what's in this lawsuit and what we can derive from it if these allegations are true. And again, the fact that there are so many photos in this document at least proves that he does have evidence of some sort.
When Lil Rod's accusations against Diddy hit the news, Lucien wasted no time denying any involvement and even threatened to pursue legal action against Lil Rod's lawyer. However, if there's any truth to those rumors about Diddy having footage of Lucien at those FO parties, of course Lucien would want to distance himself from Diddy ASAP. What's also disturbing is that there's some chatter online about Lucien allegedly being involved in some messed up stuff with Justin Bieber.
Grange has worked in the music industry his entire career. So it's safe to say that Mr. Grange should know about policies, procedures, and even protocol. So according to this account on X, formerly known as Twitter, it says Jewish music mogul and CEO of Universal Studios, Lucien Grange, is being investigated on charges of allegedly aiding, abetting, and inducing P. Diddy to run a pedophile ex-trafficking ring, and is 100% liable for the fines. If you look right here, you will see where his name is highlighted. See, everyone is talking about Diddy. No one is talking about the person that's above him that's turning a blind eye. Rumors are circulating that Universal Music Group CEO Lucien Grange took part in having young Justin Bieber rugged and raped repeatedly by pedophiles in the music industry. If you guys look very closely here, doesn't Justin Bieber look very uncomfortable? Sir Lucien Grange, CEO of Universal Studios, who is being investigated in the P. Diddy lawsuit on charges of running a pedophile ex-trafficking ring, has ties to the royal family, allegedly. Here is a photo of Prince William bestowing his knighthood. I don't know about you guys, but there is something definitely off about this picture. It takes me back to when Sloan Bella said that something is going to happen with Justin Bieber.
There is something with Justin Bieber coming up that's gonna drag Jay-Z down the rabbit hole with him.
Take a look at this video of Justin Bieber in church, and you can tell that he has been through something. And I'm talking about that something, you can't even put it into words if you try to.
And then there's also this long-standing conspiracy that Lucien is one of those big shot executives who profit from Black trauma and keep artists locked down with exploitative contracts. But Lucien is not the only one. You've also got Jay-Z's mentor, Leor Cohen.
Would it concern you enough to not work with someone? If they were, say they were in the middle of negotiating with you,
yes,
that
go
made you
ahead.
say, okay, I don't know that I can do this deal.
What?
If you felt like they had a drug problem.
No. It's part of the math in my brain. Nothing good happens with junkies. Okay? Because remember, junkie, the definition of junkie means you have to hit a wall to get better. Now, there are many people who have been able to hit the wall and walk away. A lot of them don't. So, you know, I don't like giving up people. I don't love. I don't want to give up on people.
One of the biggest artists you ever had was had a real bad drug problem, DMX.
I'm so sad. DMX. There's two people inside of him, and the Earl is one of the nicest people. I put him up in Lake George. Earl loved being silent with a fishing pole. I shit you not. He just would stay on that dock hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah, very, very sad. You know, I think the opioid problem, the SIR problem, is the biggest problem that I've ever seen and I've ever faced, and been a part of, and I can't with it. You know, the crack thing was devastating, but at least the rappers were bringing a spotlight to you becoming a fiend. Okay? And I thought that spotlight, head crack, helped, even though it was harsh and really really rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
Well, being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and.
It's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
My beef was with Lior because I think he's a fake CEO, and I think he's fronting on my culture, but he can't front on anybody else. And I'm calling him out publicly, and I want him to stop trying to rape my culture. Go make some money with some other people. Like, stop having your agenda be hip hop. Like when Joey was like, our agenda to open up asylum was to go. It didn't say nothing about going to get no rock and roll. It was go to get people that they don't even care about and make money from them. Yeah, just get money in their culture. Let them do it. Let's let the violence stay there. Let's benefit from the violence and not bring in, like, you know what I mean? It was like they have people that their job is to create beef so that they can monetize it, pause. But they don't let their culture feel it. But they make money from it, and they can't make any money or get any respect in their culture. That's why they're in our culture. Because the minute that they were allowed to be there, they would go. But they just can't. You know, the question should be, why don't you do something besides rap? And if you are all into rap, what have you done to give back to the community? I didn't know why that wasn't asked. Those were the questions that I was like, damn, if you're going to cross me, Combat Jack, Reggie Osei, ask some good questions. It almost looked like it was scripted. But you know, it is what it is. It's the perfect example of what they always do to us. They always try to, you know, offer some paper bag of money or whatever it is, whatever selfish agenda, which is the test, and then have us divide so they can benefit and take the fight off of them and put the focus on them. Never had a beef with Jay, always with Lior and his whole crew. He's the one that ruined Rockefeller, Lior Cohen.
There was, when you talk about that situation, they gave Jay Rockefeller back after you guys sold it, right?
I don't know, man. I don't want to go back to that. I'm just talking about me having to beef with Lior Cohen. See? You see how it always transitions back to Jay? Lior Cohen. That's my beef. Pause. Not Jay.
And let's not forget about Diddy's rumored sugar daddy Clive Davis, because his name also pops up when you start looking into these alleged puppet masters.
I don't get into their personal lives. I just never have. I am very close to them regarding their professional life. And my work ethic, you know, begins 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning and goes to about 8:30 at night, unless it's a club date and you're seeing someone in performance. But I work straight through for 10 to 12 hours when they can reach me. I keep the bar up there for material if we're dealing with the entertainer.
Because
My focus right now is Sean Combs.
Okay. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Because he's a sex trafficker. And he's using music and entertainment to traffic.
Now, is this just boys, girls, adults, kids? Like,
I mean, from what I've heard from sources that I would consider reliable, it really doesn't matter.
wow.
I don't think sexuality is something that has anything to do with gender at this point for Sean. I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loves to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre Rell.
Tell us how.
Who was mentored by Clive Davis.
So Clive Davis is over Arista, which is over Diddy's Bad Boy record. Now, rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about. So that would make Clive Davis Diddy's mentor, right? And what they share in common is that both of their artists mysteriously end up unalive. Now, the rumor about Diddy getting on his knees for Clive in order to get Bad Boy would just be a rumor had Clive not come out the closet a few years ago. In 2013, Clive Davis released a memoir called The Soundtrack of My Life. In that memoir, an 80-year-old Clive Davis, at the time, this was in 2013, he admitted to being bisexual.
You got married twice to women, but as you're very honest in the book about, you're bisexual, and you've been involved in 2 lengthy relationships with men, including one now. What has been the reaction to these revelations in the book, and have you been surprised by it?
I've not been surprised, honestly, but firstly, from my family, from my children who've known, this wasn't that I was bisexual when I was married. This is something that only occurred after my second marriage failed. So for the first time, having failed in marriage twice, not related at all to, I opened myself up to the possibility of having a relationship with a person rather than their gender. And that's what I turned to. But I found that the attitude in general towards bisexuality is you're either gay, you're straight, or you're lying. Right. For me, it's not been that case. It may be, even though this is just a part of my life, and I wouldn't have written the autobiography without disclosing that, maybe some good will come of it.
I've always suspected that people who say they're bisexual, the celebrities I've seen who said it, probably are gay.
With a healthy degree of skepticism, I'm here to say that bisexuality does exist, and for me, I turned to it after my second marriage failed, and I dated women, and I dated a few men, and I ended up in a relationship with a man.
Now circling back to Lucian Grange, he apparently holds even more sway in the industry than Leor Cohen and Clive Davis. And now Kanye West has joined the chat to expose Lucian's special relationship with none other than Drake.
It cuts Drake's soul. It's like he signed his soul to the devil to not be cool with me, to have to, like, this is his job to go against God.
Wow. Wow.
And it cuts his soul.
But what is it specifically about Drake that everyone hates? I just have to know that, because it's like, for everybody, all of the great, Weeknd, Pluto, Metro, Ross, Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like, there's something obviously wrong with this one individual that no one wants to speak about. And I feel like you're the only person that's going to really put it out there.
Now, you say rich baby daddy, it's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucian.
Well, Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa, who keep, you know,
oh my God.
Think about
This is a download.
We had Black Wall Street, we had Harlem, we've been gentrified, and we ain't really been pulled together since, other than to maintain what they call the black vote, which you don't have an opinion in that vote. And then they get all these celebrities, they go on TV like, you know, we got a problem with his political opinion. He's out of control. He's bipolar. He's anti-Semite. He's whatever they want to call somebody to try to get people to not listen or have, you know, take away the influence.
As for fans, they're now connecting the dots and saying this might explain why Drake seems untouchable, with some even calling him the industry's most protected plant.